Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Billy Murphy. I'll be your host. Today we're going to be introducing a video based on all the things I've kind of learned over the last nearly 30 years of going to Taiwan and being married to a Taiwanese person. My friends always ask me like things you're supposed to do or not do, while you're visiting or living in Taiwan. So I went ahead and came up with a list of what I want to call 30 things not to do when visiting Taiwan. Now some of these will be like faux pas and things, superstitions that you really shouldn't do, and others will be more on things you shouldn't miss, like you absolutely should do those things. So without further ado, in no particular order, I'm going to give you my list of 30 things you should not do when visiting Taiwan. Taiwan is essentially a non-tipping country. You won't be required to tip pretty much anywhere you go, except maybe in the bars or like nightlife or nightclubs. The big reason for this is, you might find it strange, is the Taiwanese people are very proud people. So tipping, if we're doing their job, is almost like a form of charity to them. And you definitely don't want to disrespect or let them lose face by offering a tip where it's not appropriate. Typically, you will find a service charge added to your bill in certain bars, nightclubs, especially true maybe around hotel bars, things of that nature. There may be an exception occasionally in a Western style hotel. But other than that, anywhere you go, don't really expect a tip. And remember, it's really just an insult to their culture to do so. Don't think Taiwanese cuisine is the same as typical Chinese food you see in America. Taiwan obviously is greatly influenced from mainland China and Hong Kong, and the provinces of food are greatly influenced from mainland China. But the Taiwanese also been occupied by the Dutch, the French, and other Japanese, especially throughout the years. So their cuisine is very diverse and a mixture of all these influences, and they have their own Aboriginary tribes as well that also greatly influence the food. So just don't think it's the same as what you're used to getting here in the United States. But it's definitely the best food you'll ever have. I'll have a few more topics throughout my series on food as well. It's one of my favorite subjects. Don't forget to wear a surgical mask, especially if you're sick and out in public. Taiwan people are very health conscious. It's not unusual to see people wearing some form of a surgical mask in their day-to-day life just to cut down on germs and risks of being associated around all these people in public places. But it's definitely a faux pas if you have any type of cold not to go out in the public without wearing a surgical mask. They're available everywhere. All the 7-Elevens, you can get nice fancy ones with nice designs. You'll even find them in some of the higher end gift stores or novelty shops for local made goods as well. So that's a great tip. Never flaunt your wealth. Taiwanese people are very reserved in their demeanor, and especially to their wealth. They can be fabulously wealthy and they're not going to walk around and show it as like a typical Western type of style. They may like their watches though. Locals may think you're arrogant, trying to show off on there. There's some Chinese terms I'm sure my wife would explain them to you. But it's not a good thing to do. So make sure you just keep yourself toned down and reserved when you're out in public. Oh, this next one's a great one. Never think your credit card's accepted everywhere. Taiwan is still very much a cash-first society. There's going to be many places you go that'll be strictly cash only, especially at the night markets, day markets, things outside of the Western type areas throughout the city. So just remember, convert a lot of cash. It's a safe country, so you don't really have to be worried too much about it being ripped off or scammed. Just keep in mind, most places you go are going to take cash first, and sometimes cash only. This is a great tip as well. Do not think that only Western style expensive hotels are the only kind of accommodations when visiting Taiwan. Taiwan has a fantastic local hotel business. They're extremely well run. They're usually known as like a business hotel, and they're scattered throughout all the most popular places across the island, but within the city itself. It's a great way to stay close to the top attractions and still have this be immersed in the local culture without sacrificing that you're in some kind of dump. Today's, internet, you can get a good feel of the hotels, so don't be scared to go to the local hotels. They offer some of the best values in Taiwan, and you can stay in some of the bigger cities for under $100 a night. I know folks that stay down as little as $30 or $40, and these places will be spotlessly clean, well run, very friendly, very helpful staff, and generally will include breakfast as well. So don't discount the local hotels when you're visiting Taiwan. This is another great one. Don't hesitate to use public transportation, especially in the bigger cities, and Taipei in particular. They have a fantastic subway bus system. It's all accessible through Google Maps. Everything has English. The people you'll find are very helpful, will do their best to help accommodate foreigners. A lot of people do speak English, and most everything on the public transportation will have both English and Mandarin. So it's very inexpensive, very clean, very safe. So don't forget to use public transportation when you're visiting Taiwan. And the next one's just a quick tip. It's not necessary to buy water all the time. Unlike a lot of foreign countries, Taiwan's public water fountains are all clean and safe to drink at any time. So if you don't want to have the expensive bottled water, you're more than welcome to use the local services as well. Just a quick tip for everybody. All right, this is one of those don'ts that is more of a faux pas, and Westerners are very guilty of it. It's never use your finger to call somebody. It's very disrespectful, rude. It can be considered very demeaning. The proper way in Taiwan would use your palm down, and you would just kind of wave them over this way. So this is one of those cultural things that's a little weird for us foreigners, but you should get used to it. And when you're trying to call somebody over when you're in Taiwan. Oh, this next one is something that takes a little bit of getting used to, is the high amount of density in traffic. When crossing and walking the pedestrians, there's a couple things you're going to find odd, especially coming from the Western countries, is you don't have the right of way. So when you come and do a crosswalk, everybody does follow like the green. You're going to see a little person walking as go. You're going to see a little red person flashing for stop. So as you turn your turn to walk, go ahead and just start walking. I suggest never being the first one to get out in traffic and look both ways, because there's always a straggler coming through. But once the masses start walking, just start walking across and just keep a steady pace going. Don't worry about the cars coming in and out. They're going to be timing your pace to be able to cut through the traffic. So just start walking, keep going, and don't worry about it till you get to the other side. Stay in the groups of masses. Walk like they do, and you won't have any problems. But it is going to feel a little weird when you first start walking and crossing the major highways. All right, everybody. It looks like the video is going to get long than I wanted. I'm only about a third of the way through the 30 things not to do. So what I decided to do is go ahead and split the video into 3 parts. There, if you like it, make sure you hit the subscribe button below and give me a thumbs up, and make sure you look for part 2 and part 3.